It just hurts my ears and you're giving me a headache.
It starts off fun for everyone and ends up no fun for anyone.
Hello and welcome to the Mount Rushmore Podcast. I am Jeff Hopkins, and I'm once again joined by my good friends Richard.
Hello.
And Michael.
Howdy.
Richard and Michael are locked in eternal combat over the 4 things which best represent a certain topic. And this week's topic is songs that drunk girls sing at karaoke. Whose suggestion was this?
This is mine, and I think it's because, you go out to...
Wait a minute.
What's going on?
What happened here?
Oh my gosh, it's our wives.
We're getting kicked out of here as... I guess they might have a better...
We're a little uncomfortable about you guys talking about drunk women without us in the room.
Was it problematic?
Well, okay, introduce yourselves,
We're
I
taking
guess.
over.
Alright, fine. We're going to Taco Bell.
Go breathe somewhere else.
So this is Jen Bascom, wife of Jeff Hopkins, and I'm taking over as moderator on tonight's episode of Mount Rushmore. And with us tonight we have...
Emily, howdy, Winfield.
And Sara, hi, Reeve.
Now they are taking the places of their husbands who are normally the Mount Rushmore debatists. And we're going to take over tonight and decide what the 4 Mount Rushmore choices are for drunk songs by drunk women at drunk karaoke. So we're going to start with Emily.
Okay, I'm going to do mine by topics, actually. Big
Ooh.
Surprise. Big
Yes.
surprise.
What a shocker.
She's an organizer.
Okay, so pandering. This is where you tell me that I'm pandering.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You're
my
pandering
husband?
to your
Okay.
husband.
So I'm going to go with rock first.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I've chosen Bitch by Meredith Brooks. Released in 1997. I think that, first of all, it is perfect for bad singers because Meredith Brooks is kind of a bad singer.
I think it maybe modulates 0 times.
I think I'm going to sense that that's going to be an overall theme for our picks tonight, because it's not, with a very small exception, it's not like most of the people who are going out to karaoke are necessarily going off to show off their fabulous voice. Not that there aren't those people. There are. But I think most people, when they go out to karaoke, they're getting drunk. They're having fun with their friends. They, want to be silly and have fun. And in general, the best songs are those which really are not going to stretch
It's
the
not
vocal
gonna
range.
sound that far from the original if you sing it badly. I remember seeing her perform live. I can't remember if it was on Saturday Night Live or some comedy show as a teenager.
I thought you meant you bought tickets. I was about to be very disappointed in you.
Oh, gosh.
Questioning her taste.
It was so bad. I was watching just alone in the living room, and it was one of those moments where I'm like, how is this person famous? And it's because she has a song called Bitch. Really.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like an angry girl anthem
Yeah.
without much musicality to
yeah.
it.
I think for us in the 90s, us being women, it was, girls, myself in 97.
Yeah.
It was fun to cuss and to take back the word.
Yes.
And
Giving
like,
yourself a
you're
little
cool.
license.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I also think that this particular song is the perfect backup if your best friend has already chosen You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
So you've always got to kind of have it in your back pocket because someone will always choose that one before you. And if you need like an angry girl anthem, this one can come into a fairly close second.
And you could put Hole in there, but you can't understand any of Courtney Love's words. So
Right.
why
But that's
bother
kind of the
singing
point.
it? Yeah.
And I guess you have to kind of read your audience too. Like if you're in public, you can, in singing in front of strangers, you can kind of choose really whatever you want for a girl anthem. Who cares? But if you're in a room with your friends where
And
you're
there's
going to
drinking.
get reactions from them and people can pass your song. with a
Drinking at
button,
karaoke? No.
it's best to pick something like Hole. I think the people who were big giant Britney Spears fans back then,
They're
are
not gonna
probably
know
They're
who
not
got
going
it.
to be
I love
into.
this song.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like You Ought to Know and Bitch is going to get kind of the most, I don't know, mainstream. Like, I feel like You Ought to Know and Bitch is going to get kind of the most mainstream. Like, You Ought to Know and Bitch is going to get kind of the most mainstream. Like, You Ought to Know and Bitch is going to get kind of the most mainstream. Like, You Ought to Know and Bitch is going to get kind of the most mainstream. Like, You Ought to Know and Bitch is going to get kind of the most mainstream. Like, You Ought to Know and Bitch is going to get kind of the most mainstream. Like, You Ought to Know and Bitch is going to get kind of the most mainstream. Like, You Ought to Know and Bitch is going to get kind of the most mainstream. Like, You Ought to Know and Bitch is going to get kind of the most mainstream. Like, You Ought to Know and Bitch is going to get kind of the most mainstream. Like, You Ought to Know and Bitch is going to get kind of the most mainstream. Like, You Ought to Know and Bitch is going to get kind of the most mainst
They
You're gonna
sold
get the
more
most bang
records.
for your buck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, well, all right, Sarah, what did you choose as your number one?
Okay, so I'm going to go with a little bit of a dark horse that is a personal favorite, and that is Charlene's 1977. Actually, it was only a minor hit in 77, bigger when it was re-released in 1982, and that's I've Never Been to Me. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, it, if you don't know the song, it's this kind of world-weary single woman who is talking about lamenting her fabulous hedonistic life and talking to that, you know, that mom who has the little baby and, you know, is maybe the suburban stay-at-home who's frustrated with how small her life seems. And Charlene is really saying, you know, but you really have the great life, and, you know, you've got that man you're going to hold tonight. And it's, I think, one of the things that makes a really great karaoke song for drunk girls is that it's more of talk singing. You don't have to worry about hitting really high notes, you know, but you can use a lot of feeling. You can, you know, the more you drink, the more you can emphasize, you know, exactly what she is saying. And for every single girl that is, you know, has maybe lamented that maybe she isn't married yet or doesn't have a boyfriend at the moment, this is like, you know, it's kind of a humble brag. It's like, yeah, I've been to Monte Carlo, and, you know, I've done all these
been to
wonderful
Paradise, but I've never been to Maine.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
it's a little bit of a humble brag, but it's also, you know, but really it's you have it better than I do. And I just think it's a great single girl you know, song. It's kind of fabulous. I can imagine, you know, singing it in a caftan, you know, up on stage.
Would you care to karaoke it
Yeah,
for us
could
right
you
now?
do
Oh,
some
yeah.
lyrics?
Oh, acapella. Oh, wow. Put a little bit on.
I've been to da-da-da.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me. You know, it's like, it's this.
But then add alcohol to it.
Right.
Well, that's what I was going to
That's
say.
really
Is
the key.
most of
Yeah.
the audience of a drunken karaoke Tuesday night is going to be drunk single girls,
Absolutely.
and they're going to be
They're really going to be
on their
feeling
feet for this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is one that maybe everyone in the audience doesn't automatically know, but it's one that if people are actually listening, even with half an ear, they're going to be like, that's right. Oh, this is a great song.
Or
Now,
even if they don't know it, it might speak to them.
Yeah, I've never seen this one done in karaoke, but I have seen it done in 2 different drag clubs before.
Well, yes, it's a big
which means
hit
it's a
with
powerhouse
drag.
song.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a big hit with drag performers. It's also, you know, I think a big hit with, you know, women who like drag shows. It has a lot of that.
Single ladies.
Single
Again.
ladies, exactly.
Yeah.
It has a lot of like over the top emotion
Not a
that
reflection.
exactly. It's kind of that torch song. You know, the lady that's smoking the cigarette is, you know, someone's playing the piano. So that's my first choice.
I think if Marlena Dietrich was around, she would pick up
She
that
would,
song again in a much
absolutely.
lower key.
Absolutely. And
All
it would
right.
be fabulous.
Emily, we're coming to you now for your second choice.
Okay, I've got pop next on the list.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're organizing,
For
guys.
this one, and this is probably the most like a little bit of an eye roll because it's so obvious, but I had to put it on here. Is Girls Just Want to Have Fun? by
Yes!
Cyndi Lauper, 1985.
Fantastic pick.
It's a different kind of girl anthem. I feel like it was one of the first songs that was sort of for girls. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but it's true, where you could just take the song and it was just for you. You know, all this, it's just sort of retro, and it has that kind of nostalgic feeling. Everybody, it's almost like going to Disneyland, where bikers have on Mickey pins and punk rockers have on Mickey pins, and everybody's
It's
got
universal.
The,
It's got that
the Mickey
universal
swag
appeal.
on.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter like how much of a tough girl you are or how non-mainstream you are, and you may scowl at other choices, but this one is gonna be like, this one's gonna be fine with you. You know what I mean?
It's one of those songs that makes everyone feel happy and cheerful, whether you are gender appropriate or not.
Yeah, it's true.
I will say, as someone who, when I was 10 years old, dressed as Cyndi Lauper for Halloween, and it was
course.
right around the time when, when the iconic video with Captain Lou Albano as her dad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the original timing of the song coincided with the explosion of MTV, and she was so visual. I know as a 40-year-old woman, I have such a strong identification with that song.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear it at karaoke, it's just like my ears go up.
Yeah, if someone else picks it, I mean, it makes you happy, right?
Absolutely.
Like you sing along.
Absolutely.
Guaranteed from the audience.
Have you ever heard that She Bop is about masturbation?
I have, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. But
I've read a lot about it on the internet,
Yes.
and I'm not quite on board with that version of the
that
interpretation. But it does make sense when you look at it.
I mean, it could go that way. I mean, again, I'm not sure that, in my tween years that I was necessarily thinking,
No,
that
I
that's
hadn't
what
heard
she
it
was
until a
singing,
few years
but,
ago. Yeah.
I guess it could be.
And
go
she bop,
Cyndi
he
Lauper.
bop, a wee
We all
bop.
bop.
Yeah,
Right.
but it could be like everybody
Everybody
poops,
bops. Yeah.
right?
Everybody poops.
Yeah.
Everybody bops.
It's a little more glamorous than everybody poops, but
Yes. I don't know. Is it glamorous?
Bopping.
And I thought
don't
in
know.
the 80s, bopping was a euphemism for just having sex.
Right.
I didn't know it was self-sex, right?
I wish there was someone here to mansplain to us what bopping means.
I know.
And bopping in the 80s was also a dance move. Do you
Oh,
remember where
that's
you would go
true.
side to side? Yeah. Wow,
See,
there's a lot
that's
of...
what everybody was doing,
We'll have to
apparently.
get our experts on this.
Yeah,
later.
Exactly.
we'll have to talk to the bop police. All right. Sarah, what's your second choice?
Okay, I am going back to the 80s alongside Emily, and I am choosing the Madonna teen pregnancy anthem.
Yes.
Papa Don't
Preach.
From 1986, True Blue. This was Madonna coming out with her, that super short, tough girl blonde hair, and the reason why this song is still a powerful karaoke song. Again, it has a little bit of that talky singing qualities that makes it pretty easy if you're not a trained singer, because Lord knows Madonna wasn't a trained singer, and you could kind of get away with it. And it goes from talking to really like, Daddy, if you could only see. I mean, you can,
In that bridge, she really lets him have
she
it.
really lets him
Yeah.
have it. You can go full out emotional, which, if you're a drunk girl singing karaoke, that's what you're looking for.
You wanna
You're not looking for
explore your
something to
feelings.
like sit up there and I'm just going to sing my little song. And no, you're drunk. You want to get up there. You want to, over emote like you haven't done since the junior high play and and Papa Don't Preach gives you every opportunity.
It's
to do
almost
that.
a story song.
It
wouldn't
really
you
is.
say?
Yeah.
I know you're going to be upset. It's like a good monologue.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a good
So
point.
every theater nerd, this is a great song to sing at karaoke because you do really get this dynamic arc of like when she's like, I'll always be your little girl, and I'm keeping my baby. I mean, there's a lot of range for emotion in
I
there.
feel like during that time there were a lot of baby having songs.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Ace of Base, well, that was way later, but Ace of Base had the
That's
All That
right.
She Wants Is Another Baby,
Oh,
which is, by
yeah.
the way, a very popular drunk girl.
Oh,
That's another one
a
that's
good
like
one.
number 5 or 6 on the list.
And I
Yeah.
guess I'm outing that was not one of my other picks, but
It wasn't on my list either, but you're right.
Yeah.
That is absolutely.
But I
another
feel like
great song.
Wham had the father figure song right around that
Right.
time. Do you remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, with Papa Don't Preach there, at the time, people were saying, "Oh, it's great. It's an anti-abortion song." No, it's bad. It's a pro-teen pregnancy song. It's like everything Madonna did was political, but, it's
And Catholic.
yes.
It was
yes.
Catholic specific with her.
It was very
I
specific.
mean, her name was Madonna.
Well, I mean, that kind of places it in a certain
But
range.
this is when she was kind of dressed like Marcel Marceau, like very French
Right.
mime looking,
Yes. Yeah, very
beret, stripes.
right, Breathless, and Jean-Luc Godard or something. But I think and I think the Catholic Church came out and was very anti-Madonna at this time, and but I mean, it's 30 years later and it's still a really good song.
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's a fantastic anthem if you want to get up on stage and emote.
I think that was a really good point about it being like a monologue as well, because it's sort of, I don't know, a lot of songs are purely there for catchiness value or nostalgia or whatever, but it is sort of like a free pass to just go to town, as far as like, you can sing any of this stuff in the shower to yourself, but like when you're on stage at karaoke drinking, this is like the time to just go bananas and like act it out and be ridiculous. And
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
like
you're supposed
it's
to
like
do.
singing a diary
Yeah.
entry,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Like
nobody's going to judge you.
Right.
I mean, you're on
Yeah.
stage, you're singing
I'll be
karaoke.
honest with you. I don't really sing karaoke. And so I'm the judge in the audience. I'm not going to lie.
Do you eat your
judging
cereal with
you.
milk? That's what I want to know.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
Oh, that's
disappointing
even more,
you.
I feel like sometimes it's even more complicated than yes
I'm
or
a
no.
complicated kitty cat.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with that, we're going to take a little midpoint break and talk about you, the listener out there, following us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You can also check our back episodes. And by our, I mean our husbands, who work so hard on this podcast that we took over. So make sure you follow them because it gives them self-esteem. And we're back. So if you're just joining us, we are talking about drunk women songs at karaoke. And we are here with Sara and Emily, and I am Jen. We are the wives of the other people that usually talk to you about this stuff.
Those other jerks.
Those other dum-dums. So we're going to start and flip it over and go to Sara for her third choice.
Okay, so I think kind of a theme of my songs is really that they are songs that you can really emote and really give a full performance. And so my third pick is Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yes.
Now, this might be a slightly controversial choice because it's a really fucking long song. The full album version of this song clocks in at 7 minutes.
Wow.
Is there like a long musical break?
There is a huge long musical break in the middle of this song. And I will say, if you are singing this by yourself and you're at all self-conscious, it can be a little bit awkward because you've got like 100 bars of music or something that you're just like standing there as like people are out there like Jen are judging you in the audience as you're
I'm
like,
judging
oh my
like
God.
with a hopeful heart. I
Right.
just want to point that out.
So what I'm going to say about this song is that yes, it's very you know you can just it's a turnaround. Yeah. Anyway, it's very iconic, but it definitely works better if you have your girls up behind you. This is
Yeah.
a song where it has a good moment, an interpretive dance break.
Lifts,
where
you could do some
You could
lifts.
do, definitely full on Dirty Dancing,
Yeah.
like Jennifer Grey lifts at
Yeah.
this point.
Practice in the lake first for safety.
Exactly, very good point. Safety first, and so. It is a great song. It's got, heart. It's, the kids may know this was, redone in Glee a few years ago. God, I don't know how long ago that was. But, for people that are younger than I am, that don't remember this song, it's fantastic. It's got these weird like Children of the Corn figures with glowing eyes that come out of the mist. That it's a little freaky looking in the video.
There's a lot of wind in that.
There's a
it was like
lot of wind.
But it was indoor wind.
Yes,
right?
definitely
Never- I
wind
don't
machine.
Like a
Ever
Stevie
seen this
Nicks video.
before.
Oh.
We did not have cable growing up, so
Oh, did you live on a commune?
I
What?
lived in the country, and my mother was a hippie. So
Wait, were you able to get cable?
I could get cable when I would visit my dad every other weekend, and that was my sort of like total cable binge fest.
Total eclipse of
which
cable.
started out with watching Rugrats and Doug and stuff, and like Ren and Stimpy, and then moved into like MTV right when it started to get kind of bad.
Right.
Sad. It was kind of
Oh.
a sad time. To
Yeah.
come about
I feel like I
watching
got
cable, but
MTV at its best years, like
yeah.
with
Yeah,
like Men at Work and
Yeah,
stuff like
absolutely. Like
Yeah.
the early mid '80s, was
yeah, I got a little bit of like the sort of like 90s grunge, and then it sort of started to devolve into late 90s garbage.
that. So you didn't even see Thriller, probably.
Not not in the flesh. Not
That's
like
like
as it
one of
was.
those
I saw
momentous
it, like, at a
events.
friend's you know what I mean? I saw it at a friend's
Right,
house, and I like had heard it a bunch first, and then saw it. So I don't have. There are a lot of things like videos and stuff like that. That
I feel like
don't
you
know. I've
missed
never
out.
seen
Like you
anything.
culturally missed out. I feel like
Yeah.
people knew where they were when Princess Di was killed. People knew where they were.
Well, now that was on regular network TV.
But what
so
I'm
I do
saying
remember
is
that
people
happening.
also mark where they were and
Right.
when they saw Thriller for the
I
first
see.
time.
Yes, I
Absolutely,
see.
it
I
was
see what
so
Do you know what I
iconic.
mean?
Yeah, I mean, we had that. I don't remember what the channel was, but it was like some network channel that was on a different wavelength on your black and white TV that you had to like really
Like
try hard
Friday
to
Night
get.
Videos
Yes,
or
I was-
something.
I loved
Q
Friday Night
for
Videos.
TV or something.
Awesome.
God, I wish I remembered the name of it. And I remember
Much
seeing
Music or something?
Strokin' on there.
Oh,
And
Billy
that's-
Squire.
And
was
that is a classic
Terrence
karaoke
Carter
song for the
stroking
drunk
video.
guys.
And it was
yeah.
just like, oh,
Dun,
my
dun,
mom was
dun,
like,
dun,
oh,
dun.
you know, and it was like kind of like fuzzy. So it was like
Yeah.
our equivalent to watching like music porn at the wrong age, you know?
I
You know,
feel
it's
like
just
all music video is actually porn,
Well,
though.
you know.
When you
Yeah.
think about it,
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely.
I
So-
don't get the reference to the video, and I really have to watch
You
it.
and
gotta
see,
YouTube it now.
Yeah, see, well, I'm sure that we, you know, the men's, they can put the clip up on
The
the
mensies.
Facebook page or the website, because it really is classic. But anyway,
Well,
the
Sarah,
long
one
break
thing
makes
that
it
you
hard.
pointed out, though, is that you kind of need your posse to do this with.
Absolutely.
And I feel like if a girl is drunk at karaoke, she shouldn't be alone
Absolutely.
anyway.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Definitely go with your girls.
This actually leads into my next pick perfectly.
Great.
Yes.
All right,
because-
number 3 for Emily.
Yes. So this is an R&B choice.
Ooh, now I'm going to be down with
Oh.
you.
Oh, it's interesting that you use that phrase because
What?
I actually chose "The Boy Is Mine" by Brandy.
Oh
and
my
Monica.
gosh.
Another
down also
classic
being another
video.
Brandy song. Yes,
Yes.
classic video, perfect for a duet. However, it's also perfect for a woman who wants to force her friend into a duet. When
Ah.
her friend really just wants to sing by herself. And I'm kind of one of those people.
Which
it's
one?
not
You
that
don't
I
want to share the song.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like you don't get to sing in front of people any other time, and it's
Yeah.
like I don't want someone else getting the harmony wrong. I don't want someone else coming in at the wrong, you know. And it's like
Right.
I enjoy the group ones, but this is one that always like sort of is used almost as a trap because you can't say no to it.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I'll do that
Yeah.
one, you know, and then it's like.
Because
Oh,
especially if it's a really busy night at karaoke
Right.
and you know
You only
you're
get a-
only
You're not
going to
gonna
get
get
one or
up.
two songs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it also everybody thinks that they can hit the range, and then every single time
And they
that song comes on, I mean, because they go all over the place.
Yeah.
I can't hit the range. I'm not trying to be a jerk about it.
I
but,
want to
like,
hear you
it's
sing
like,
now.
No, I've
Yeah, if
got a
I had
cold
to.
right now. This is so not the time. But it just they go everywhere. Like they just fling around the scales like nobody's business, and it's just like
I love seeing people try and do that, though. And by
Right.
judge, I mean I'm the good judge.
Yeah.
I'm excited for those moments of failure and success at
I think
karaoke.
that's part of the beauty of
It's
karaoke.
fun.
Yeah.
If you want to just hear good music, you go see professionals.
Right.
Karaoke is like comedy.
But I will say that where I try not to judge too harshly, at least the people who are just, going to make a good faith effort. Where I will judge is those people who are obviously, I would say, semi-pro karaoke singers, like where they bring their own discs
Yes.
to the karaoke
I
bar.
don't know
Yes.
if I've ever seen that.
Oh,
Hang on.
you.
Where have you
Yes.
guys been going? Where do you karaoke?
So, I'll be honest. I have not actually gone out karaoke in a long time.
Me
but,
neither, but back in the day.
yes.
Not me. I
That's
don't
what I'm
care
saying,
about
like,
it.
Bringing discs, I feel like it's usually a digital selection now.
Well, I may be aging myself
I
there.
know,
But serious, or I'm just talking about the quality of the karaoke
Right.
places that I've gone to, where it was still disc based.
Right.
But yes, if you were bringing your own karaoke selections to the bar in order to sing some obscure song, or even a not obscure song, but something you couldn't guarantee was going to be in the book.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, you better be really damn good, or I am going to sit here and not so quietly judge you.
Right.
Well, I have just 2 quick aside questions since we're on the topic of where. First question, how do you feel about those, like, authentically Asian karaoke rooms, specifically in downtown LA? And secondly, we're going to talk about the pick, but let's go to that question first.
I think you just heard how I feel. I just couldn't even hold it in. It feels like it's such a default birthday choice. but everybody else loves it. I'm the only one that
So what is
doesn't.
it specifically you don't like about those rooms?
I really like the interaction with strangers. And
I
here's
agree.
the thing.
Yes.
I talk to strangers constantly. Strangers seek me out and also just have conversations with me, which is
You're what
absolutely
therapists
true.
probably
It
call a
happens all the
safety
time.
object.
In line, it happens everywhere. I end up having conversations with everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that is part of it, is just watching people I don't know singing. You just get such a good show. After so many times of going to the rooms with your really good friends, you know what everybody likes to sing, you know what everybody, I just love the surprise of it. And one of my favorite places, which I know they renovated and I'm really sad, haven't been back since they've renovated, but is the Corbin Bowl, the Lion's Den at the Corbin Bowl, which was just the best people watching every single time. And I feel like we have separate stories from each visit of, there was a guy wearing sweatpants with no underwear underneath, and he was standing under a light that was shining directly down on him, and everybody in the audience could see everything.
Oh, goodness.
And everybody was talking about it. And then there
I
was
love
another-
it.
there
It's
was another-
bonding. It's
Yes.
group bonding.
There was another like crazy lady who sang Benny and the Jets, and she
Good
literally
choice.
went Benny and the Jets, and it was just like, I mean, the whole place was going crazy, and that stuff doesn't happen when you're in rooms
That's
with your
true.
best friends.
Yeah,
who are
that's a
singing
great
true.
point. There's less risk and there's
Right.
less people to make fun of.
Right,
Yeah.
it's kind
'Cause
of like
you
being
choose each other.
conservative in
Yeah.
the stock market.
Ah.
It's like
Yeah.
you take less chances, and it's a little bit
With
more
less
it's even-
reward.
It's
feel-
penny
exactly.
slots. It's penny
Yes.
slots.
Right.
Like
Yes.
Jeff and I used to go to a VA, a VFW, and so it was fascinating to watch the people that would go in there and do songs. And there was one guy that everybody called Froggy, right? Frog throat. And he had some, like, he always sang Wonderful World.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But the way he sang it was like, like,
It's the Tom Waits version.
yeah, it was, you couldn't help but root for him, but you also wanted to run and hide.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really sad. How do you
Yeah.
feel about
I mean,
those small rooms?
I agree. I think they are a little safer. I think, occasionally, at parties, you really just want to go and hang out with your friends. See, I think I tend to be the opposite type of person where I'm like, no, I don't want strangers talking to me. I cultivate a please don't talk to me kind of look. And it doesn't always work, but I do definitely enjoy the public atmosphere, the public vibe, going to a real shitty dive bar
Yes.
where they're doing karaoke.
It's like hazy and sweaty.
Yes.
And it smells of urine and vomit.
You have to sit with other people because there aren't
yeah.
enough seats.
Right.
They
Yeah.
used to have fabric flames at the Lion's Den, where if you were doing a really good job and you had like a good crowd reaction, there were fabric flames. that
Oh
would
my
turn on
gosh,
the other
I
side of
love
you.
that. Like, were they air controlled? Like those.
exactly. The
like
fabric
the-
flames that just blow.
Oh my
you
God, that's
know? But they were
awesome.
like, it was incredible. And
I
there was like
love
a
it.
stuffed lion on stage. I mean, it was the
Those days
cream
are
of the
sad.
crowd.
But
Yeah.
you should run your own karaoke night.
Yes,
Do it like honor
Right,
the
old
old days.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, I think that where I started not always enjoying going out to public bars is when I felt like, we would go to our dive bar and it was full of like, really, really drunk, 50 and 60-year-old guys that are up there singing Strokin', and it's like, okay, that's fine. I get it. And then like the, not hipsters, but like the frat boy crew discovered it. And then they were there all the time. And I was like, oh, okay. This is not my crowd anymore.
Yeah.
So that's where it's like, okay, well, sometimes those individual rooms, They do offer a safe space.
It's like the white people moved in and got your people
right,
out
exactly.
of the neighborhood.
It was gentrification.
They ruin everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Of my dive bar karaoke.
My
yes.
second question before we go to your final picks, I have a friend that just hands a book to me and says, open and point, and that's the song I'm going to sing, which I think is the ultimate
karaoke
bungee
roulette.
jumping risk.
Absolutely.
So how do you choose songs? You go in there with a song in
I
mind?
have a list on my iPhone that is a very
wow.
large list.
You are taking this seriously.
It's not taking it seriously per se, but I'm not an improvisational person, so if there's a gap where I don't know the words, I can't even pretend to be enjoying myself trying to figure out what the words are.
Yes.
So I really just sing songs that I know. There are a lot of different kinds of songs now. It didn't necessarily used to be that way, but I sort of get into trouble sometimes in the Koreatown karaoke rooms as well, because their selection in English is so limited, and I'll have like one or two songs, and there are some shockers that they don't have. Like they'll have like No Prince or something like that. And
Yeah.
you're just like,
Right.
what?
Right.
You
They'll
know?
have
Yeah,
3
you have
Britney
to have
songs and no
Prince.
Madonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't fudge my way through a song like some people can.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
How about how do you choose?
I tend to also be very safe, and depending on how much alcohol I've had, I'll get more daring if I've had more. But I do tend to be very safe, and like I'll get there, I'll check through the book, I'll find my 3 songs, and then I'll I'll put them up, I'll space them out through the night. Because I get very self-conscious if I don't know all the words, if I can't remember exactly how it's going to go. I'm terrified of looking like an idiot up there.
All right, final picks. We're going to go to Emily first. Your 4th pick
Did we
tonight.
do your 3rd pick?
Yeah, Total Eclipse
Total
of the
Eclipse of
Heart.
the Heart.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so this theme. So I did rock. I did pop. I did R&B.
Mm-hmm.
The last and final category is actually garbage, because
What?
not the band,
Oh.
but the genre.
Okay.
Because this is something that I guess would be under pop, but it is just such an assailing sound to me. But every gaggle of drunk women seems to choose this.
I can't wait
This
to
is
hear
why
what
I
it
picked
is.
And it's Everybody, Backstreet's Back.
Oh,
by the
yes.
Backstreet
Oh,
Boys.
my God.
Okay.
We're back again.
It's awful. It is. I mean, and oh my God, I watched the video today too, which is like they get trapped at this like haunted mansion, and they're like mummies and vampires, and it's just, oh my God, it's so bad. And maybe that's part of it, is having the visual
Yeah.
of the video along with, you know. But it's just that song that, like, someone always thinks is going to be a crowd pleaser, and everyone's just gonna like rally behind it and get up and be so excited, and it just isn't.
It fizzles.
It's just
It fizzles
loud
out.
in the speakers,
Yeah.
and it's just them. And it's also one of those songs that just doesn't. It's not a very good karaoke song.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just
Backstreet
like-
Boys was more of a dance band,
Right.
meaning
Right.
they would dance to make up
You need
for
the
the vocals,
visuals,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those songs that just is like, oh my God, we're back again.
Although
It just
I
gets
love
really
that
low
phrase.
for you. It gets really low for you, and then it's just like the same. And
You
it's
do
just
that good with a
over and
cold.
over and over
Your
again.
cold
Very
is
good.
Oh,
paying
thank
off.
you. I have a little bit lower.
I feel like in that same category would be Four Non Blondes, like
Right.
What's Going On.
Yeah.
I was waiting for someone to
I-
point that
Right,
one out.
and it's because it's like this song that you can just shout through, and and the girls that get up and sing it, they feel like it's gonna be this big crowd pleaser, but they end up just screaming through this song, and it's just like, no, that just hurts my ears, and
it
you're giving
starts
me a
off.
headache.
It starts off fun for everyone and ends up no fun for anyone.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 minutes later, everybody's going, oh God,
Everybody
is it
hits
over
the
now?
pass button if you're in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are just like, or you, if you chose it and you're not getting the reaction that you thought you would get out of
Yeah.
your friends. It's just like, just skip it.
Just
Pass
skip
on.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that always happens with this song every time I hear it.
All right,
Absolutely.
Sarah, final choice.
Okay, so I am going out with a classic, and this is the 1978
Ooh.
Wronged Woman anthem, Gloria Gaynor's "I Will Survive."
Of course.
And this song is so iconic. Every woman who has ever been dumped, been in a messy divorce. I mean, this song is the empowering anthem of women everywhere. Of, you know what? I don't need you. I'm gonna get back on my feet, and I'm gonna be better than ever. And I mean, it's so iconic. I mean, the Library of Congress, said that this song was culturally, historically, or artistically significant, and selected it for the National Recording Registry.
I think they said that about the Backstreet Boys song as well.
Right? Yeah. Well, it's right up there. But I feel like every time I go out to a karaoke bar, there's at least one group of girls, and this is definitely got to be their song. I mean, it's somebody got broken up with, somebody is just ready to get out and exclaim, you know what? I am strong, and I don't need this guy.
All right.
And we used to live in Encino, and a couple of streets over from us, one street, they came sort of at a corner. One street was Gloria Street, the other was Gaynor Street.
Stop it.
And I always wondered if that was her real name, if that was a coincidence.
Oh, if maybe
she
chose
chose
that.
there.
And,
I just don't know. It's like Chevy Chase is another
Right?
street. I don't know. Like, what's the story behind that?
good
Never
point.
cared enough to look it up.
Well,
Something
that's what
for you
Wikipedia is for, folks.
Yeah,
so,
right.
You can look that up yourself. But anyway, it's such an iconic song, and I feel like throughout my 20s, I feel like I went out to so many karaoke bars with friends that were getting over breakups, and this was the song that like they would sing and immediately feel better, even if only for a little bit, feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, we've heard both Sara and Emily's Mount Rushmore of drunk women songs at karaoke. Their 4 choices. So this is my moment, I guess, to evaluate the choices, being the judge that I am in karaoke.
Judging us not so silently.
So it sounds like, Emily, you went by genre, which
did.
was a good sort of organizational process. You cared about vocal range, and it seemed like you went more for the crowd pleasers.
Oh man, I kind of sound like an asshole now.
Well, I'm
Now
just
that I'm
trying
thinking about
to
it.
I'm trying to summarize a little bit. Sara went more for the feminist political choices and emotional theatricality, which I thought was interesting. It seemed like you both went for anthems, but you went for more. Sara went for more classic anthems, I thought. And, in thinking about karaoke and what it represents in our society, in terms of Maslow's pyramid of survival basics as human beings, we need to be fed and we need to be sheltered and hydrate. And then we also need these 2 other things, which are to be heard and to be self-actualized. And I think karaoke provides those 2 things for people. They get to share their voice and they get to challenge themselves. And I felt like, Emily, you didn't go for the challenge yourselves one quite as much. You went for more of the crowd-pleasing ones, which I think is also part of, getting that validation. But I think when you go for more emotional pieces, it does give you that self-actualization. So I'm going to choose for our one-time only episode, Sara as our drunk girl karaoke winner.
I knew I'd be good at something.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Sara.
I'm gonna go on Facebook and like cattily make some sort of a passive aggressive remark.
I'm surprised
How well
neither
you
of you
did.
chose Summer Lovin'.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one to involve co-ed,
True.
but I don't always hear
Girl on
girls
girl.
just doing
Yeah,
Yeah.
and my other thought is that, you know what? That's a song you can do sober.
Agree.
I don't have to be drunk till I get up and really emote,
Yeah.
John Travolta.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you can be sober for John Travolta. Baby's Got Back was a popular
that
hit.
was on my list. Yeah.
And I Will Always Love You,
oh, yeah.
which I think hits
you.
the crowd-pleasing vocal range.
yes, and definitely challenging.
Yeah, and very emotional.
Just saw Dolly Parton live, by the way.
Oh,
It was amazing.
I'd like to
Yes.
karaoke with Dolly.
Oh my god. Who
Yeah,
wouldn't?
I'd like to just be in a room
Yeah,
with Dolly.
Yeah,
'cause I
just
love
get
her.
cuddled by
Yeah.
her
Dolly,
and
if you're
her.
hearing this,
We love you.
We love you, Dolly. All right, we're handing it back over to the boys.
sad.
We're letting them have their show back.
Hey,
Drunk girls rule.
That's right.
Well, that was
Hey, gentlemen.
a uniquely awesome experience. To
And a
just-
winner.
Should we kiss
We're
into the
winners. That's
microphone?
what we do.
You have been listening to the Mount
Mount
Rushmore
Rushmore
podcast. This has been
Jeff
Jennifer.
Hopkins.
And this is Richard and
Sarah.
Sarah.
Emily and Michael.
And
I just
Michael.
spoke for Anyway.
You should let me speak for you, Jeff.
Hello and Malcolm
Malcolm.
X. This is the Malcolm X podcast. 3 white guys talk about Malcolm X.